Hello, good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments so that I may answer your questions. I have a great topic for you today, and it is going to be what are the benefits of applying for VAWA? So VAWA is the formal name for it is the Violence Against Women's Act, but I also like to follow that with this is for everyone, all genders, not just women, even though it just has women in the title. I think they need to change the name. But anyhow, that's why I'm going to spread the word. This is for men, this is for women as well. And it's for different types of relationships, not just a marital relationship, not just physical domestic violence. This form of relief, immigration relief, is for men, women, married, parent-child relationships as well. And so if you're in this relationship, whether it's a parent-child relationship or a marital relationship with a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, they're mistreating you verbally, mentally, emotionally, physically, then you have the ability to apply for your own status in the United States that would allow you to get your work permit. And then you could also move on to get permanent residence in the United States. So that is the first benefit. You get to make your own decisions. This application is based on you. It is not dependent on the spouse. It's not dependent on your parent, and it's not dependent on your adult citizen son or daughter. This is going to be all you. Now, keep in mind that I'm also here to answer your U.S. immigration related questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments because I'm here to answer. As long as it's immigration related, I'll answer. So it doesn't even have to be related to the topic that I'm talking about. I'm going to touch on the benefits of applying for this. And so hang tight so I can list those benefits. In the meantime, I'm just going to answer these questions here. Any advice on any movements in the category F2B? So no, the F2B is about 5 to 6 years. And so that is, going to be the processing time right now. One thing I would say is if you've already applied, that's great. You can you are already in line. But if you haven't applied, I really encourage you to first make sure you qualify through a consultation and determine what your best options are. But if you haven't applied, go ahead and make sure that you submit that petition after confirming you can. The reason being, of course, I'm an attorney. And so I always think about best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, and I also think about plan Bs. And I think this would be a good plan B for individuals. You're creating an option for yourself in the future if you apply now, even though it's going to take a very long time. You are creating an option. And here's an example. Here's what I'm thinking about. What if the law changes? What if they do come up with a plan that allows processing times to move faster? Then you will be in line to take advantage of the faster processing times when they resolve the backlog and they resolve this terrible delay or terrible wait list in waiting for immigrant visa numbers. You want to make sure that you create that option if it should be the case. All right. So any advice on any movements in so what is the difference between the F21 and the F2A? So there's the F21, so I'm not sure about the F21. So there's the F1, And the F1 is for sons or daughters of US citizens who are 21 and up and unmarried. Then there's the F2-1, and that is going to be F2 A, and that's going to be the son or daughter under 21 and unmarried of a green card holder. The F2B is going to be the son or daughter of a green card holder who is 21 and over and unmarried. Now, the F2-1 could be also be the spouse, and the F2A is the son or daughter. So the son or daughter of a permanent resident. So it's broken down into little categories like that. Let's see. So what's the most recent waiting time for K1 visa? So it's gonna depend. It depends on the embassy. It depends on the service center that's processing the case. If you do have a K1, you can go ahead and check. If you have the I-129F petition, go to the service center that's processing your case and you'll see how long they're taking. And then it really is gonna come down to the embassy and what they're doing with K1s right now. What does OMB number mean on my petition D260 and on the expiration date? It says, so it's the internal expiration dates on the form. What's the most recent waiting time for the K1? Been divorced and status in limbo since 2016. I encourage you to get legal assistance. There are options, Blizzy. There may be options for you, but I wouldn't be able to advise you unless I know all your facts. So go ahead and make sure that you get the legal advice you need. Go to the link in the bio and it's going to lead you to the website where there are different ways to get in touch with the scheduling coordinator. Call, email, do an online chat, or do an online form. After accepting the civil documents, how long does it take to get an interview? It depends on the embassy. Crown by Kima, thank you for that encouragement. I appreciate it. My visa class is F2-1, waiting on interview. My DQ is December 2020. My case filed since 2018. So yeah. If you're DQ'd, you're probably in line for the interview and you're not alone. Many individuals are waiting right now. They're backlogged, unfortunately. And so just make sure, keep an eye on your case, make sure that there's nothing they want. Make sure you keep an eye out for that interview letter. So my husband is a green card holder, yeah. So just hang tight, make sure you keep up to date on your application and make sure they don't need anything from you. All right, so great questions so far. I appreciate all your questions. Let me remind you that I'm also here on YouTube. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments, whether you're on YouTube or TikTok. I'm paying attention and I will answer those questions as they come in. Now, I've been talking about the benefits of applying for VAWA. Now that I've discussed what it is, if you want a recap of what VAWA is, you can always go to the YouTube channel. I'm the Immigration Attorney. That's where my lives are posted after I do them at around 4 p.m. If you want to get a recap, go to YouTube, subscribe at the Immigration Attorney, and you will see that video at the very top to the last live. And you'll also see the subject matter. Now, the benefits of VAWA is, one, you get to apply on your own without depending on the spouse or the parent or the son or daughter who is mistreating you. The other is that you still will be able to get permanent residence. Another is that if you do have children, whether the children are in the United States or outside of the United States, with status or without status, they will be included on your application and they'll have the ability to adjust status along with you or to go through consular processing and get permanent and immigrant visa to come to the United States without you having to file a whole new petition for them, or without involving the spouse. This, or the spouse, or the son or daughter, or the son or daughter, or the parent, if you have a parent. Now, another thing is that you don't have to tell your spouse, you don't have to get notification. This is completely confidential. This law is there to protect you. It's there to make sure that this relative who's mistreating you doesn't have the means to retaliate against you. So the USCIS and the immigration agency that's processing the VAWA is not going to contact your relative. They're not going to ask for information. They're not going to ask for verification. And so it is a safe process for you to pursue. That's why it creates great options for you. Also, VAWA applicants who you've been married to a U.S. citizen, and once you've gotten VAWA, you've gotten permanent residence through your U.S. citizen spouse, well, then you can go on to applying for your own permanent citizenship within 3 years. So a shorter time to apply for citizenship if this is based on the mistreatment by a U.S. citizen spouse. Now, the other benefits is that you take control of your process. I think I've said this like 3 times because that's the best part of the process. I think it's the most empowering aspect of this process for my clients, is that they gain control of their process. And that is the case even if the U.S. citizen or resident passes away. Even if they're deported, even if they lose their status, even if you get divorced from them, you have the ability to still go forward with your own process. So, and that is another benefit here. I think when you are looking at the benefits versus the cons, while you really need to make sure you sit down and schedule a consultation to go through all the implications particular to you, I think here you can see the many benefits, especially when you need to free yourself of a very oppressive situation. All right, I'm going to go back to questions again. So go ahead, put those questions in the comments, both on YouTube and on TikTok. My husband is a green card holder. I've been more than 40 days since I sent my expedite request. Did not get a reply yet. IR2 Guyana. So, they're backed up. You need to follow up. Unfortunately, I'm not your attorney. I haven't reviewed your expedite request. If you don't hear from them, you'll probably have to follow up. Also, if you're facing a situation, you're having a hard time navigating your process, that's where it's time to speak to a professional who can assist you through your process. If you would like personalized legal advice and assistance, you can always schedule by clicking on the link in the profile. I will definitely advise you in a consultation as to your options and then determine a way to go forward. So when I sign into the CCAC account, I saw they removed the petitioner and co-sponsor. Why is that? I wouldn't know 592G1 because I'm not your attorney. I haven't reviewed your case, and so I'd have to understand your situation. I'm a green card holder. I'm taking a plea deal. So if you are, I'm taking a plea deal tomorrow, felony 1 and a misdemeanor. So definitely get legal advice. When it comes on to any kind of offenses, convictions, you should be making sure, if you have an attorney, make sure your attorney can give you detailed immigration advice before taking any plea deals. I know you said tomorrow, but it's so important for you to make sure you understand the full implications, because by pleading guilty to a felony, even if it's a plea deal, by pleading guilty, what you're doing is you may be also subjecting yourself to deportation and removal proceedings. So you want to understand fully what, and the criminal dealing with this, right? Dealing with pleading guilty. That's why it's important to have an immigration attorney work with your criminal attorney. Because if you make the wrong plea deal and you don't understand the full implications, what will happen is you are at a disadvantage, because what they'll do is they will just move it on to the immigration court and then have you deported. They're not going to care about that. So very important that you protect yourself and look out for yourself, because the prosecutors aren't going to tell you that. All they're going to do in the court at sentencing is they're going to ask you if you fully understand the immigration consequences involved, or that you understand that there will be immigration consequences. That's all they're going to ask you. You don't know how serious those consequences are going to be. So make sure you schedule an appointment and get the right advice, and speak with your attorney, your criminal attorney as well. Got an I-360 approval, what to expect next. So that means that if you haven't already gotten your work permit, you could apply for work permit. You'd be placed on a deferred action list. And if you have applied for adjustment of status, the next step is you could go on to get permanent residence. And this is if the I-360 is based on your VAWA. I'm not sure, because I-360 has different purposes. It's for a religious worker. It's also for special immigrants. And so I don't know in your case, but if it's based on VAWA, the next step is going to be adjustment of status. Do you know what year they are at now? So there is a chart that I specifically refer to that I am not looking at right now, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. When mom filing for children and grandchildren. Okay, so if the mom is applying for her child along with that child's children, so they have to meet, they still have, the children have to make sure that they're under 21 in order to go along with their parent. All right, so I have basically listed out all the benefits of VAWA. I'm pretty much done with that. I don't see any more questions coming in. I'm not done yet. I'm actually heading on over to Instagram to continue the live. So what you can do is hop on over to Instagram. I'm the immigration attorney. So you can continue to ask your questions. We can continue to have this conversation. If you can't, guess what? I will be back tomorrow. So you can join me tomorrow, where we can you can come with your questions and I'll come with a topic to talk about. But before I leave, let me just see this. If a person has been deported, can they return? Please, I need some help. They may be able to. It depends on how much time has passed. What is the underlying offense? Do they qualify for a waiver? So many different factors to consider, Tamara. That's where the consultation is going to be very, very, very important. So I'm heading on over to Instagram now. I will see you in a minute on Instagram. I'm the immigration attorney, same as here on Instagram. I hope to see you there, where we can continue this conversation. If not, see you tomorrow, or I'll speak with you in a consultation. That's the most important thing, is if you're going through a particular issue, get legal advice, because that's where you're going to get the information you need to understand your process and move forward. All right, so I'll see you in the consult, speak with you tomorrow. So Tamara, great question. Go to the link in the profile. There's also the number all over my videos. The number is 561-405-4889. Go to the link in the profile. That will take you to a page with all the different options. So do that. That's going to lead to a scheduling coordinator, and the scheduling coordinator is going to help you to schedule your appointment. All right. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.